The Delkari had studied humans for decades before first contact, observing their odd blend of compassion and chaos, cataloging their art, war, music, violence, hope, and bloodlust like curious archivists dissecting a paradox. They read Earth's history with a detached fascination, wondering how such a fragile, short-lived species had crawled from fire and bone to starships and interstellar diplomacy in barely a blink of galactic time. Their linguists were puzzled by the language of honor and vengeance that sat side by side with the poetry of peace. Their psychologists couldn't reconcile how the same people who painted masterpieces and composed symphonies also firebombed cities and stared into the void of nuclear annihilation with gritted teeth. But they all came to one conclusion. Humans were emotional, reactive, but ultimately manageable, predictable, containable. That belief died in Fire the Day they learned what human rage really meant. The Delkari invasion of Terran Colony Sigma 9 had been intended as a simple message, a minor correction of galactic hierarchy. The humans had expanded too fast, claimed too much, refused to bend to quiet demands of the Delkari Confederation. The elders of the council saw them as an unruly species with too much pride and too few consequences. So they dispatched a fleet of suppressors to Sigma 9, expecting a swift occupation and a quick diplomatic reshuffle. Instead, they sparked a fury they never imagined. The colony was small, barely 10,000 civilians, and a single planetary defense garrison. The Delkari fleet descended like gods with plasma and grav bombs, expecting surrender. What they found were humans who did not beg, did not bow. The garrison fought with desperation, outgunned and outnumbered, buying time for civilians to transmit a final message back to Earth. Then they died, every last one of them, with curses on their lips and fire in their hearts. The message reached Earth 13 hours later. No declaration of war. No demand. Just a simple, encrypted packet with 2 lines. Sigma 9 is gone. We held the line. Tell them. Tell them. That was all. No elaboration needed. Because humanity knew what it meant. And more importantly, so did the Terran Strategic Command. They didn't convene a council. They didn't wait for negotiations. They didn't issue threats or ultimatums. Instead, they opened Protocol Vesuvius. Rage, true human rage, is not the wild, screaming chaos that aliens assume. It is cold. It is methodical. It is an engineer's vengeance, a soldier's wrath, a mother's scream buried under steel and silence. It does not burn hot and fade. It simmers. It calculates. And then it erupts. The Delkari military outpost on Drexxis Prime, their fleet command and industrial capital, first noticed something wrong when every orbital satellite went dark within a 0.4-second interval. Not jammed. Gone. Their defense grid failed 1.2 seconds later, sliced through with surgical precision. Then came the silence. No weapons. No invasion force. Just silence. That was the last moment of peace for Drexxis Prime. From a void above their planet, reality tore open, and a ship exited FTL space, a Terran dreadnought, blacker than deep vacuum, moving with the patience of a predator. The Delkari had seen human warships before, but this one was different. No insignia, no call sign, just a code designation painted in red across its hull. R.A.G.E. Retribution Asset, Galactic Enforcement. Drexxis Prime sent 1,000 signals, warnings, diplomatic requests, pleas, threats. The ship ignored them all, and then it opened its bays. From within, it launched kinetic rods, unpowered, inert, just metal and gravity. They fell without warning, impossible to track. The first one hit the northern continent, vaporizing an entire command center and leveling 30 kilometers of terrain. The second obliterated the planetary fuel reserves. The third shattered the main population arcology. They came down like the wrath of gods. There were no shields, no defense. The rod struck with such force the planet's crust began to fracture. Volcanoes, long dormant, erupted. Oceans boiled at the edges. The skies turned black. Delkari High Command panicked. They sent fleets. None arrived in time. Other colonies begged for a ceasefire. Earth said nothing. The humans never broadcast a word. Their rage didn't scream. It annihilated. The R.A.G.E. dreadnought remained above Drexxis Prime for 12 hours, ensuring nothing moved, nothing escaped. The Delkari atmosphere burned, their cities became ash, and their proud fleet, commanded by those who orchestrated the Sigma-9 strike, was wiped from the sky by precisely placed debris collisions. Not a single missile was used. Not one Terran died. It was perfect, clinical, and then, as quietly as it had come, the human ship vanished into the stars. The galaxy went silent. In every council hall, species spoke in whispers. The humans did not issue a declaration of war. They didn't ask for reparations. They didn't threaten. But the message was burned into every race's memory, like fire into flesh. The footage leaked. Delkari refugees, those few who escaped in early evacuation pods, carried stories of a planet screaming under fire and a ship that watched without emotion. They spoke of humans not as warriors, but as forces of nature. One Delkari scholar, before her death, said it best in a broadcast that was translated into every major galactic dialect. We studied their emotions like we were safe. We thought their rage was like ours, loud, temporary, manageable. But we forgot what rage means to a species forged by extinction, betrayal, and ice. Rage is not noise. It is consequence. After Drexxis, no one dared touch another Terran colony. Treaties were rewritten. Borders redrawn. The Delkari Confederation collapsed within months, their leadership hunted not by humans, but by their own people, desperate to prove they were not aligned with those who had provoked the humans. The Terran Alliance issued only one communique, a short, clinical memo that stated Sigma-9 would be rebuilt, and that Earth remembers. Always. The galaxy didn't fully understand what it had provoked until it was too late, until their planet burned, until the silence came not with peace, but with precision. In the end, it wasn't just Sigma-9 that the humans avenged. It was a warning, not shouted, not screamed, but etched into the memory of the stars. If you hurt what is ours, we will find you, and we will remind you that of all the species in the void, only one built its home in fire and fury. Only one rose from ashes not once, but every time. Only one was forged not to dominate, but to endure, and when pushed past the edge, to burn the heavens themselves. They didn't understand human rage. Now they do.